and I welcome everybody, all those theatergoers who want to join us from different parts of the world. Today is the 24th of September, Saturday, and we are going to have our final day of which will close the St. Petersburg Theatre seasons, which traditionally goes with the support of St. Petersburg Committee of Culture. This day, this year, we broadcast our festival to the territory of China, and through accounts Weibo and Dong, on account of Rossотрудничество, it is possible for Chinese viewers to see our festival. According to results of one of our broadcasting, the broadcasting counted more than 2,000 visitors. Our organizers are Neva-Art, social, cultural communication and art project company, and we are thankful and grateful to our information sponsors, Channel St. Petersburg, Radio Channel, Peter FM, and Where to Go. Due to these channels, more and more viewers are going to find out about us.
Встречайте приложение ВК-клипы. Удобный видеоредактор. Уникальные маски и эффекты. И стильные фильтры для обработки. Еще быстрее, проще, вертикально. Теперь в отдельном приложении. ВК-клипы. Место встречи талантов.
А теперь, пожалуйста,
наведите камеры своих смартфонов
на QR-код на экране и
вступайте в наше официальное сообщество ВКонтакте. And join us, please, in contact.
Я также напоминаю,
and also I want to remind you that for our foreign online viewers, the English version of the broadcasting is on the English language site. Just pick up the English version of the site. In case you have Russian version of the site, then there is no translation over there. And also we have Russian version in contact in our group. So today we saw the performance of Comedian Shelter Theatre, and here we have guests Ilya Borisov, the actor who played Uncle Vanya, Veronika Zhukova, who played Sonia, and Yana Sharafudinova, market manager and the head of the administration. We are in the museum of Russian sculptor Anikushin. This is his memorial workshop, which was turned into a museum after he passed away. But we're going to speak here about Chekhov's Uncle Vanya, the play which has much in common, overlaps with the workshop of a famous sculptor, because he created a whole gallery of Chekhov's characters. Not only because this place reminds us a resembling estate in the center of the city, surrounded by trees, but because I used to know the sculptor, and he himself reminded me Chekhov characters. I used to know him. He always reminded me Chekhov characters. He was always very tall, with big hands. He himself, most of all, reminded me the Dr. Ostrov. It is a figure of a working man, such a man who does everything himself. There was some special magic in him. Chekhov studies human nature from inside, and Mikhail Konstantinovich sculptures this human being and creates what is inside of him. With his sculptures, Anikushin tried to convey an internal spiritual world of his character, showing his soul through his appearance. This place is whispering in this respect. After Moscow Art Theatre had its phenomenal production, it was hard to live without Chekhov. By the way, they wanted to give Uncle Vanya to Mali Drama Theatre, and only after persistent conversations with Nemirovich Danchenko, Chekhov gave his play to Moscow Art Theatre. When working over Uncle Vanya, he was well aware of nuances and details of the Chekhov play which were accomplished in his Chaika, due to which he worked out a special approach to that production. Maybe because of this, the performance happened to be so logical in comparison with Chaika, where, as the critics used to write, there was too much of whining. There were many light and funny moments in Uncle Vanya. When director of the Royal Theatres, Duke Telikovsky, saw the premiere production, he entered a note in his diary saying that if this is a picture of the modern Russia, then it is bad news. The end is going to be a catastrophe. And really, in 10 years after that, the catastrophe broke out. Dr. Astrov, performed by Stanislavski, became a big success. His participation was very important, especially after a fail with Chaika, where he played Trigorin in a white coat, in white hat. Stanislavski played him as if Trigorin was a man who has just fallen from the moon into the Sorin's estate. Here, in Uncle Vanya, his character was salt of the earth. There was a lot of Chekhov himself in this role. When reading Chekhov's diaries, we read the same words what Astrov used to say: constant work, sick people, sick calls, and together with all that, he was working over the play. After October Socialist Revolution, there was time when they didn't want to stage Chekhov. He was not interesting for a new power authorities. New audience didn't have any interest in him. In the 30s, new interest arose towards Chekhov. In the 60s, there returned fresh interest to his plays. In result, there appeared Chekhov plays in cinematography. In 1970, Konchalovsky made a wonderful performance where Elena Andreeva, and that was a very rare case of successful film with many superb actors. I had a chance to see the performance. In the beginning of the 80s, Grigory Tovstanogov made his production of this play, and I was lucky to watch that performance. He and Tovstanogov made his production with great actors. In those days, Tovstanogov's company had a fame of the best. Vainitsky was played by Basilashvili, Astrov was Lavrov. Basilashvili played Vainitsky. To my taste of young student of that time, I was a young student of that time, that performance was a bit too heavy, but every uttered word was meaningful, and I liked it very much. In the beginning of the 80s, I saw Uncle Vanya in Yefremov's productions, where Smoktunovsky played Vainitsky, wonderful Vertinskaya played Elena Andreevna. So that performance, made with the help of artist Leventhal with subtle half-tones and nuances, carried sophisticated Chekhov's aesthetics.
So
once I want to correct myself a little bit.
музее такая атмосфера.
In Anikushin atmosphere, in Anikushin Museum, there is a very special atmosphere. I would recommend for you, to everybody, to go there. I mixed a little bit. In Konchalovsky, Ostrov was played by Sergei Bondarchuk, and he played it perfectly. And I want to remind to our audience, our constant audience, know it already, that you can leave your questions in the comment department. And every time when you ask your question, please give your name, give us your name, for we would know how to appeal to you, and mention please the city from where you watch us, because we want to know the geography of our festival. And we also have prepared a gift for you. This is a bag with souvenirs for you and gifts, and a
слив, который вы можете получить. Ну, собственно, вы можете на него посмотреть, на товар лицом, так сказать.
Well, today I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt.
Приступим.
And
я начну с Яны. Вот, наверное, когда я вас представлял, да, я, наверное, должен был сказать вот так. Про Илью должен был сказать актер театра мастерская. Про Веронику должен был сказать актриса театра Новосельского. Яна, это же странно, да? Мы же представляем театр-приют комедианта. И сразу возникает вопрос, это что же такое за странность такая, что у нас театр-приют комедианта, артисты все чужие вроде, да? И зритель, который, может быть, этот вопрос
different theaters. Maybe it might be surprising for our audience that they will, if the audience will go to the program, they will see that all these actors, they are not constant actors from this theater. Well, actually, these are not strange actors for us. These are all our actors, just they, together with that, they play in other theaters. We just don't have a constant company. It means that for every performance, our directors are free to cast any other actors from outside of our theater. We have 142 actors. Maybe you are the biggest company in the city. Yes, this is what it happens among all the drama and ballet, even the theaters. We're the biggest company, though our actors play everywhere. For example, in our theater, the actor of MHT can play on the same stage from BDT. And this is what happened. The actor from workshop and an actress from the theater on Vasilievsky. So we have...
В художественном театре Паша работает. Да, ну замечательная команда. То есть собирается. А как это? И это театр хотел бы поставить эту пьесу? Или режиссер приходит с этой пьесой? Вот от кого идет творческая идея?
Who wants to make this performance, this play, or the actors and director? Well, this question is better to be discussed with our artistic director. Well, in this very situation, we work a lot with young directors. This is a politics of our theater, and our artistic director, Mr. Minkov, he really supports young directors. So these are those people who make the future of the Russian theater. Konstantin Bogomolov and other young directors. So there was a suggestion to put on Uncle Vanya, and maybe it was very interesting for him because he cut out many of the characters of the play.
Тогда, вот мы не случайно же ролик показали.
So it is not by chance we showed some video. Before every performance, we tell about the history of the play, because it's interesting to know whether actors get any influence from the previous experience. Because you've got many roles played, like Hamlet, Days of Turbin, Cyrano de Bergerac, well, Canterville, Accident. When you work on your role, when there are predecessors, when there are former actors who are very famous, and of course, we know everybody watch old movies. Does it affect your role? Does it affect your work? Well, in some way, of course, it does affect, but I'm sure that you can try to copy the model of many famous actors, but in any way, when you work over the role or play it, it comes out of you. This is me. This is me. And I do that. Ilya Borisov, that's the way I feel it, and the way I play it, it comes from me. I do not make a copy from other actors. It's stupid and not fair. Who did you see? Who did you see, Uncle Vanya? Yeah, I saw with Makovetsky.
Да, и вот недавнешнюю премьеру в
Комиссаржевский Theatre.
Денис Пинов тоже гениально играет. В Ленсовета я видел.
In Ленсовета I saw Uncle Vanya.
У нас дядя Ваня.
We've got many Uncle Vanyas. We've got many Uncle Vanyas in our city. And really, our audience, they can select, they can choose, they can even cast out of many uncles Vanya. Because every performance describes and discovers new opportunities of every performance. And when you undertake this work, do you read? How do you work over the role? I love this play very much, and I have always been dreaming to play Vainitsky, and also had an agreement with one director to make Uncle Vanya, to make this. But then this director all of a sudden made a performance in different theater, and then there was an offer from Yevgeny. Well, first I refused to work here in this play because I had an agreement with other director.
Но потом все так разбежалось, разлетелось, и я на самом деле в этот спектакль пришел уже в ближайший вагон.
I entered this performance in the last moment because it took time for them to rehearse, and I didn't have a chance to participate in rehearsal, and I really fell in love with my partners. But this shortages of the text. Well, many characters are missing.
Это все делал Женя, и, по-моему,
well, all this was made by Yevgeny, and he made it beautifully and correctly. When I read his version of the play, well, I didn't have any questions. Of course, a mother needs to have his mother. Vainitsky everywhere exists through his mother. But over here, I think he made it correctly. He made it in a subtle way. Just there are, well, just classical texts. Even when directors change at least one word, well, critics and audience, they do not agree with that. Well, but I think that Chekhov himself gave us such plots that they do work even with big changes. You can make short plays, you can make them longer. For me personally, this is an absolutely acceptable thing that directors change the play. Veronica, you have As far as I understand, you have just graduated the university, but you have just graduated from your university. You are such a young actress, and you play on Vasilievsky, you play here. Many actresses, they dream about acting, dream about playing these roles. But do you think about the former actors who played this? No, it's not a fear. I'm not scared of the previous experience that other actors had. I didn't want to repeat anybody. I didn't want to copy, and at the same time not to go against. I didn't have any task to go to do something on the to do something opposite. I wanted to do something real, something valuable, something alive, where I present. I wanted to make a girl with her problems, with the way she decides her problem by her will. Well, you played two different characters in different theaters. What's the difference between these two different characters of Chekhov? Well, actually, for me, these are two absolutely different people. Because Irina in Three Sisters, she finally turns into a stone. But she releases from this weight and then goes forward. But as for Sonia, she is very reasonable. She is very reasonable. She doesn't belong to her feeling. She is very reasonable, and she understands what's going to, what kind of future expects you. She goes fearlessly to the future. Irina is about closed eyes, and Sonia is about a girl with her eyes open. Whether you have a different approach when you play modern and when you play classics. Well, there was a performance where you staged the performance about Lenin. That was very fresh material with no former actors. Is there a difference about approaches? The classical and modern, you know, over there we cannot call it to be a modern theme. All that was collected from different diaries, lots of documentary things. As for playing Gorky, I play Gorky over there in that performance. Is also not very modern, not contemporary at all. But this is a new text. You just wrote, this text was wrote you for this performance. Well, I don't know, I trust my directors, and I like to exist under the power of director. It was easy to work with Yevgeny. We didn't have too much time to discuss it. As for Roman, it's difficult because he likes to rewrite hundreds of times one and the same plot and one and the same play, which doesn't diminish the result and the quality of what he does. As for Zhenya, he likes to discuss things. He likes to go into details. He likes to sit at the table and talk and explain and contemplate. As for Roman, he just throws actors towards the performance. You are a student of Vladimir Tyka, a great master. But how did you happen to be in a workshop theater? I know that Grigory Kozlov, he hires only his students to his theater. Well, the matter is that I am from Sverdlovsk, and I studied in the culture school with Losha Vedernikov and Perevalov. We were three friends, and we came to St. Petersburg to come to Kozlov. But he said that he will hire only one out of three. Yeah, we came, three of us. We were called the parachutists from Sverdlovsk. We didn't have any other chance. We entered the Institute of Culture, and then in a year and a half, Grigory Kozlov just had a vacancy on his course, and he called one of us. And then I joined, and that was a very good school. And then at the end of our studies, he told me, come to the theater. And I started to work in different theaters. So you studied at Tika, then you happened to be at Kozlov's, then you played in Baltic House, you play in the Comedian Shelter. What is the difference of approach? So it happens that an actor has to exist in different systems, because every theater has its own rules. Yes, of course, there are rules, and there is a human being. I am a human being. I do not impose myself to any theater. You were not looking for Lenski from Roma. No, I didn't ask from Roma this role. I didn't even expect to be appointed for Lenski. With Roma, we went together a big road, and we continue working together. Roma is a separate story, and maybe we have to talk about it not in this situation. Roman Gabriel was here in this program, and he also one of my beloved students. He is very talented, who together with Grigory Kozlov now heads the theater Masterskaya, the workshop. Veronica, what about you? How did you happen to come to the acting occupation? Will you tell us? From where? I'm from St. Petersburg. But it sounds strange a little bit, because I graduated from the mathematical school and mathematical class in the School of Physics and Mathematics. But it happens then from the fifth class, I had a new teacher over there who organized a theater studio, and every year my amateur activity, drama amateur activity, I liked it really very much. And by the time when I had to finish the school, I had to decide, because from one side for 11 years you study really very serious technical things, and on the other side you have artistic world, which you're also part of, and everything which refers to the art. So it was very difficult choice for me. I just had to throw a coin. Well, your physics and mathematics doesn't help you. Of course it helps. Of course it does. I think that an artist is supposed to be a very smart person. What a rare thing. Well, it's not necessarily he should be smart. No, an artist, an actor is supposed to be smart.
понимать разных людей.
Well, it's a multi-sided character which allows you to understand different people, different types of characters. When you work in the same field, then you have just one single angle at which you look at people and at life. When you look at different angles, it's more interesting.
Наталья Пашковская спрашивает.
Well, the question
Персонажи в
is,
спектакле движутся по
the
собственным
characters,
орбитам,
every
почти не видя совершенно
character
не слыша друг друга в вакууме.
moves their own orbits.
Спектакля быстро
Uncle
превращается в
Vanya
черную дыру.
turns
Соня
into
свою
a
энергию
black
концентрирует так
hole.
медленно и настолько
Sonia
сильно, что в
concentrates
какой-то момент
her
вспыхивает, как
energy so
солнце. Так ли
slowly.
это задумывалось режиссером?
Whether that was an idea of a director. What a question.
Сущностный.
Кто же знает, что там режиссер задумывал?
Well, we actually hard to understand what the director was thinking. I don't think that he was thinking about. I think this is a personal approach of a person who made this question. Maybe that was an idea of Evgeny.
Мне кажется, в конце уже не была такая мысль.
At the end, Evgeny had an idea that
дядю Ваню как бы
Uncle
разрывает от всего,
Vanya
что происходит.
is really torn apart from everything what is going on.
Ну, вы же главные персонажи, да? Ну, и
You
вообще,
are
хочу сказать, что,
main
конечно, главные,
characters.
потому что дядя
Of course.
Ваня, он ведь дядя Ваня
Of
только для
course, main.
Сони.
Because Uncle Vanya, he is only for Sonia. Of course, this pair is in the center of the play, and definitely they are a main pair of characters in the performance.
Дегтяря, ну, все-таки на вас построен в первую очередь спектакль.
I believe that this performance is built on you. How do you feel the time of the performance? Well, there was a modern music by Песняры, by Шнур.
Вы в каком времени живете?
In what time do you live?
Это все музыкальные, вот
all these musical
озвучили эти музыкальные
pieces.
принес Паша Чинарев.
Pasha brought, Pavel Chinarев brought all these pieces, and it was not possible to refuse. Of course, he is an actor of
вопрос звучит в
каком времени? Вот вы живете в каком времени?
In what time?
Я здесь сейчас,
You
мне
live
кажется, нахожусь, не
I
знаем,
live here.
такого общего сговора нет.
I live here this time, in the present, at the present time. This situation like they have is possible at any kind of time.
Это вот про сейчас?
So this is a performance about now? Yes, of course, about now.
Кивает головой, согласно, то, видимо, тоже про сейчас.
Но мне кажется, да, это какая-то безвременная история, и даже хорошо,
This is the story which doesn't have any time. It is not bound to the time.
Потому что есть какое-то такое ощущение сразу,
There is some understanding that it is not here. This is a post-Soviet story.
Это же история про то, что все идеалы ушли, да,
вот
ideas на самом деле перспективы нет никакой, ну,
there is no any perspective.
Героев, да, и вот эти как бы и Песнярами, и Шнуром подчеркивается постсоветское.
These songs by Песняры and by Шнур, they underline the period of time that it happens after the Soviet period. Well, it's closer to the 90s, but I do not know how to play 90s. I do not play anything from the 90s. For me, it is now, here and now.
Исторического колорита. И вот я еще хочу задать, да, это тоже такое, те, кто сидят в студии, уже привыкли, ну, те, кто смотрит, естественно, да, к тому, что я это у всех спрашиваю, но это у меня уже мой личный какой-то интерес такой, вот я
The question that I want to ask now is one and the same in different days. I love actors very much. And I admire actors, but at the same time, I really worry very much about actors. How do you escape your role? How do you exit your role? You play in different theaters. Every night you play in different performances. You have to personify yourself into all different actors. How do you get back from personification?
Есть такое понятие импродрама.
once I had an experience.
There is от слова импровизация?
Да, импровизация.
Improvisation and drama, impro drama. Once I had a meeting with the director from Germany, Evgeny Wright, and I happened to be with him during 1 month. He gave us trainings, exercises, and tasks, and the final point of everything was our improvisation. We could just have time maybe for 30 minutes for a short sleep. And he said that in improv drama, there is a mechanism that you, after you play the performance, it cannot be neither good nor bad. You couldn't play better or worse. Just today is the day which gave that very performance. And I noticed that, and I forgot, and I remember that. It helps me a lot. Well, I used to really suffer and worry very much about my personal state.
Спектакли не бывают одинаковыми, и, по-моему, это прекрасно.
And I used to have bad emotions. But now I know that this is the day and this is a new performance. Veronica, what about you? Does it happen with you? Whether your characters stay with you behind the stage? Well, definitely these characters bring something to my life. But, I try to zero myself, and I know the boundaries. This is the life of my character, and my life is here. Yeah, this is a mathematical approach.
Елена Яблочкина интересуется. При разборе пьесы какую главную задачу ставил режиссер?
What was the main task of the director when he specified for you the task? What was the task? What the task you are playing? Вероника,
давайте, рассказывайте про то, что вы играете.
Will you tell us what are you playing about?
Какую задачу ставил режиссер?
What was the task?
Насчет главной задачи.
As for the main
такой постановки вопроса вообще не было какой-то.
This didn't exist. Such a question didn't exist. There was a process.
Держал достаточно свободно.
Where we were very free and we just watched ourselves what might happen. Somewhere it was a free work. And then only just closer to the end of the rehearsals, because right before the outcome of the performance, he asked us to think about the most important things for ourselves. And individually, each of us had to think, had to pick up the most important thing for us. I can add that.
А как вот заканчивался вопрос? Можете напомнить?
What was the end of the question?
Про что играем, да?
Да.
What do we play about?
Какие задачи ставил режиссер?
Какие задачи ставил режиссер? Относительно задач уже нет такой темы, она, наверное, есть, но как бы она не проявлена. У него в основном это не задача, а в основном что ты говоришь за текстом, как бы, что подкладываешь под текст, который ты говоришь. И Женя, как режиссер, более всего зациклен именно на этих моментах.
Внутренний монолог.
Да, вот внутренний монолог, про что ты говоришь и тому подобное.
The actor of the character, and what we play is
про то, что эта пьеса, она
всегда this piece is always about,
всегда имеет место,
always takes place, always
написано,
exists, always is.
Как на дальше, как на раньше, вот как что-то такое.
It exists always, now, then, in the past.
Самая ставящаяся пьеса Чехова. Вот мы все думали, там «Чайка», наверное, да.
Well, yeah, Uncle Vanya is the most acted, most workable, most oftenly played.
А вот скажите, вот у нас фестиваль проходит онлайн.
Well, our festival is online, goes online, and we show the performances recorded online. So it's very interesting what kind of a performance they watch, because they're always different. And now I don't even know what kind of performance we're talking about. But well, in general, do you watch yourself in recorded? You haven't seen Onegin, the recording of Onegin?
Яна, ну вот мы теперь с вами, наверное, будем сейчас разбираться с этой историей онлайн, потому что я хочу сказать, что, конечно же, вопросы по поводу театра в онлайне, они существуют, да? Сразу начинают говорить о том, что как же пропадает там театральное впечатление, дыхание залы, ну, живые артисты, все это. Но когда я смотрю на цифру просмотров фестивальных спектаклей и вижу цифру 200 тысяч, я понимаю, что театр «Приют комедианта» должен этот спектакль играть типа 2 года каждый день, чтобы набрать такое количество зрителей своего спектакля. Это необычайное широкое распространение театра, и в этом смысле плюсы безусловно.
So in this respect, of course, we have only pluses, and pluses overweigh the minuses. So recordings, video recordings give a chance to watch these performances to many people. And this is the time when the performance, the drama performance comes right to your apartment, to your home. I believe that it is better to have the theater in this way than the audience would not see the performances at all. And because the performances, they, do not live long, actors get old. And the theater changes them, but the quality of the recording leaves them in the history. And this is a very special magic. Well, I still enjoy watching the performance of many old masterpieces, drama masterpieces. So I want to thank our team, our technical team who recorded this performance, because they write it for the history. So Yana, how do you? What is your approach? Whether these video recordings affect the theater? Well, you mentioned it very correctly, that of course the theater goes to people, but you talk like the theater scientist, and I discuss, and I speak as the person who goes after viewers and spectators. The matter is that in marketing, we've got barriers and we've got motivations, motives in order to buy a certain product. For many people, the barrier to go to the theater is that people believe that theater is something very complicated. It is something very difficult, boring, and people have to put on their Sunday best, sit in 2 hours. When the theater went online, it happened to be, the audience discovered that theater performance, drama performance in the theater is something very simple, very easy, very nice. So after we show something online, people do want to come to our theater, and they later come buy tickets, and they come to us, and it's really becomes difficult to get a ticket to the theater. When I started to work in the theater 15 years ago, and we tried to make broadcastings on television, well, at that time it was not possible to measure the number of viewers, but we now understand, due to technical opportunities, we understand how many people come to us, and we know that most of our audience is that those people who first watched us online and then they come buy tickets and come as real spectators.
Которая меня так вызвала изумление первый раз, когда я ее увидел, прямо обомлел, да? Вот все, весь этот набор.
Now we have another surprising thing here is all this set of our shirts and the lady in hat, in black hat. It's the same reason. It's the same reason. It was very important for us to carry the same idea. That's why we left the colors, black and the red. And plus we left a lady in a hat with a telephone to show that the viewer, the spectator, is the same person as anybody of us, everybody of us. She watches the performance online. And she watches the performance everywhere. So it was very important for us to show that the theater, going to the theater is safe, it's interesting, it's easy, it's simple, and it's a very warm atmosphere. Time changes, and the theater can survive in any situation, can adjust itself, can make findings. And now it happens all the time. Yesterday we saw Wolves and Sheep, where they have online translation of close-ups when they show close-ups. So we see that the theater applies to these technical methods, like showing TV aspects, like close-ups.
Вероника Шамрикова задает вопрос. Как, по вашему мнению, спектакль отвечает на вопрос, что делать, если жизнь прожита зря?
How does this performance answer the question, what shall we do if you wasted your life?
Вот такой вопрос. Вероника или Илья, что делать, если жизнь прожита зря?
What shall we do if you wasted your life? Well, I don't think there is a performance which can answer this question. If a person wasted his life, there is no question what he shall do. And there is no performance which would answer this question.
Да, Вероника? Вероника, а вы верите, что будет небо в алмазах?
Veronica, do you believe in the sky and diamonds, diamonds in the sky? You saw the performance, right? You heard me saying that.
Мне кажется, это отвечает на ваш
вопрос. Well, this is the answer.
Мне кажется, да, вот опять же, вместе с вами, читаю в конце концов, да, про суть спектакля. Мне вовсе не кажется, что это спектакль про людей, которые прожили жизнь.
Well, I don't think that this is about people who wasted their life.
Мне кажется, что I think that
a person in any situation has to penetrate the situation and be in it with all his wishes, loves, and disasters. A human being has to pass through all the passions, different stories, different dramas, different likes and dislikes. A human being should pass through all types of experience. It doesn't mean that he wasted his life.
Вот как вам кажется, сегодня,
How do you think?
Когда это продолжение того, о чем я говорил, да, сегодня, когда очень много людей
занимаются Today, when there are so many people are involved in internet, social network, this woman with a smartphone in her hands, what gives it to the theater? And how does it?
Вот вы чувствуете дыхание этих масс-медиа?
How does it jeopardize the theater life? Do you feel the influence of mass media in the theater? Well, I feel it, but I don't think that it jeopardizes it in any way. Well, the Comedian Shelter is the only theater where they say that, where we announce that you really are allowed to shoot our, to make videos and to take pictures of the performances, and you can then show them in internet. When someone likes some scene and he takes a picture of this scene and then he places it in internet, I think it's a good thing. Do you use all this set of technical gadgets? Of course.
Не мешает, помогает.
Абсолютно не мешает.
No, it doesn't jeopardize my life. It's neither jeopardized nor helps me. This is just life. This is time.
Все-таки актер же такая зависимая профессия, да? Все равно зависит от выбора режиссера. И в то же время у вас есть у каждого
is a very dependable occupation, but still you have your own view and your own dream. So how does an actor puts into practice his dream? Suppose you have a dream to play something, but it is not an actor who decides it. Well, the workshop theater, we don't have problems like this. If an actor wants to get this or that role, you tell about that. You make sort of an order to director for this role. You just share your desire with director about that. Well, Maxim Studinovsky with Balzaminov was here, and he said that there are possibilities like this at the workshop. What about in the theater on Vasilievsky? Oh yes, we are very free about picking up the roles. It looks to me that if you want something and you really belong to your desire, you're really eager to play something. It depends on how big is your desire. Do you have a dream? Do you want to play anything? Do you have a specific role you were after? You're so young, and the whole repertoire is just in front of you. Wow, so interesting.
Но хотя бы частичку ее. Частичку, да. Я думаю, ролей будет много, но сейчас хотя бы одну.
I think you're going to have many roles ahead. Well, you know what? If someone asked me the question like this, I always answered something. I always found something to say, like Katyusha Maslova in Воскресенье, or Margarita in Master and Margarita. Ophelia. Have you ever had a desire to play happy women?
Нет.
No.
Я не знаю, как их играть.
No, I don't know how to act, how to play happy women.
Чтобы я не произнесла,
Now, whatever I could say,
не было бы правдой.
It wouldn't be true,
Катюшу Маслову вы
100%
уже
truth.
произнесли, поэтому мы уже одно зерно бросили туда куда-то, да? Тем более давно не ставящийся роман Толстого. В свое время был великий спектакль Московского художественного театра.
Well,
Мало ли кто услышит и задумается над этим.
Maybe someone will hear. You've already mentioned Katyusha Maslova from the Sunday by Tolstoy.
У меня просто такой,
I just think that now I have a period. This is just the beginning, and I'm very open to something very new. Maybe I'm not aware myself about new coming things. Ilya, what about you? Do you have a dream to act someone?
С кем бы хотелось поработать?
It is mostly the question, who do I want to work with? I could play anything with Andrei Maguchin, or I could play any role with Khlebnikov. It means to work with interesting people. You play a lot in cinema. Is it a different approach to cinematography? What qualities you use in the theater and in cinematography?
Ну, в кино, наверное, то, что
Well, in movies,
какая-то у меня есть, наверное, органика.
maybe I am organic. I use that.
Кино для меня не так травматично, как театр.
Well,
После
films are
театра,
not so
ну, это к вопросу, как
traumatic for me
выход
as
из
the
роли, как
theater.
вот вы поставили. Все равно я после театра прихожу,
After the theater, after the
в
drama
11 часов
performance,
сажусь есть,
I get back home,
ложусь,
I
ворочаюсь,
eat
маюсь,
at
вот это
11
все.
o'clock in
Но
the
все равно
evening,
выходит, все равно как бы он
and I do not sleep very
подвыходит из
well.
тебя театр.
А с дочкой-то вы когда играете, которая у нас здесь в зале сидит?
When do you
С
find
дочкой мы
time
играем часто
to
очень даже.
play with your daughter,
С
who
дочкой
we
мы
see
проводим
here?
огромное
Well, we
количество
spend a
времени,
lot
я
of
все
time
успеваю.
together.
Мне
I
удается.
find time.
А как удается действительно ребенком заниматься? Вот у вас
How
ваша
do you
жена,
find
тоже
time
замечательная актриса
to
Дыня, которая в БДТ
raise
работает,
your
да?
daughter?
Вы как
Your
ребенком
wife also
занимается?
works in
Один на съемках,
BDT.
съемки, театр,
When do you
репетиция.
find
Кто?
time to raise
Ну,
your kid?
нет, я не настолько занят.
No, I'm not
честно, не
so
так плотно,
busy
я
actor.
не нахожусь дома. Все равно.
I do
Да,
find
это список
time to be at
моих
home.
ролей.
На целую страницу набралось.
Нет, мы находим время.
Yes,
мы,
we do
мы
find time.
стараемся как меньше подключать бабушку и чаще всего
try-
разруливаем это
We
вдвоем с
try
женой.
to do that
Так,
together
наступило время
with my
подводить итоги,
wife.
поэтому наше жюри в течение 15,
So it is
прошу вас,
time
секунд,
to draw the
определите, пожалуйста, какой
conclusions.
вопрос был самым
and,
интересным для вас.
Вот первый такой, он казисто звучал, такой красивый какой-то был вопрос.
Will you pick up the
Можно его еще
question,
раз
please?
услышать,
The
если это
first
не-
one.
Она, Ольга Щадрина, озвучивает
Will you
наши
please
вопросы и
repeat
напомнит
the
нам, как звучал
question,
первый
the first
вопрос.
question?
Персонажи в спектакле движутся по собственным
characters
орбитам,
of the
почти не видя и
performance
совершенно не слыша друг друга.
go
В
their
вакууме.
way. They do not
Дядя
see each
Ваня на
other, they
звездной карте
do not
спектакля
hear each
быстро
other.
превращается
Uncle
в
Vanya
черную дыру.
very quickly
Соня
turns
свою
into a
энергию
black hole.
концентрирует так
Sonia
медленно и
concentrates her
настолько
energy
сильно,
so
что в
slowly
какой-то момент
and so
вспыхивает, как
hard
солнце.
that at some
Так ли это
moment she
задумывалось
blushes like the
режиссером?
sun.
Это вопрос
Whether
от
it
Натальи
was how it
Пашковской.
was thought
Да, это круто
by the
просто-напросто, да, и поэтому вы
director.
получаете вот этот
So,
как бы
it's
шопер
a great
вот с тем,
question,
что там
and
есть.
that's why you get
Будете
the
приходить, например, в театр, придете
shopping bag.
в фирменной
Every time when you
кофточке,
come
так
to a
скажем,
comedian
да.
Да, и
shelter
вам будут выдавать
wearing this
бесплатный кофе.
sweater,
Да, мы
yeah, and you will get a free
Так, я
coffee.
думаю, что нам надо быстро заканчивать
I
этот
think now
для
that
нас
we
другой
have to
финалем, как вы
finish,
понимаете,
to finalize our
заканчивается
session.
фестиваль, у всех хорошее
We are
настроение,
finishing
все
the
могут
St. Petersburg
вздохнуть, и
theater
поэтому обещают
seasons.
кофе
Everybody's
без
in good
согласия
mood.
с директором
That's
театра
why
Виктором Михайловичем
we offer
Ленковым, а в клинике
you
комедианта
free
это
coffee
не приветствуется.
in
Вы
comedian
просто,
shelter.
когда придете в
Just
эту
next time when
кофточке
you
с этим шопером,
come to
в
our
буфете скажете,
theater,
американо на Борисова запишите, а я рассчитаюсь.
you just say
Спасибо, Илья.
that you will
И
take your coffee
воспользуйтесь, пожалуйста. Я должен от нашего фестиваля
on my
вас
charge.
поблагодарить за
So
участие
I
в
have
нашем
to thank you
фестивале.
with
Вот
this
диплом
diploma
участника.
for
Ну,
your
передайте там Виктору
participation
Михайловичу
in
с
our
нашим приветом и с
festival.
пожеланиями ему здоровья.
Спасибо.
А я должен
now
сообщить,
I have
напомнить,
to
точнее, вам, что
remind
с
you
20
that
сентября
starting from
проходит
September 20th,
фестиваль
we
«Детский
have
Петербург
a
онлайн».
festival,
В нем принимают
children's
участие и
festival
Петербургский
online,
театр со
and
своими
the St.
детскими
Petersburg
спектаклями,
theaters with
и
their
другие организации, там библиотека,
performance
и
for
центры
children
какие-то
and
есть.
libraries.
Он
They
проходит
take
в
part.
онлайне, а с 1
This is
по 5
From the
ноября
1st till the
пройдет
5th November,
основная часть
there
фестиваля,
will be
она
the
пройдет
major
как раз
part of the
в
festival.
оффлайне, да,
It's going
в
to be
живом плане,
offline.
поэтому мы вас приглашаем обратить вас на это внимание.
So we
Детский
invite
Петербург,
you
это тоже
to
традиционный
take
фестиваль.
part in our
Мы вас всячески
festival,
приглашаем.
St. Petersburg
наш
for Children.
16-й
And our 16th
театральный фестиваль
theaters
петербургские театральные
festival, St.
сезоны
Petersburg Theatre Seasons,
завершается. Я надеюсь,
is coming to
что
an end,
мы
and I
встретимся с
hope
вами
that
в
we
следующем
will
году.
meet
Всем
you again
спасибо,
next
до
year.
свидания, до новых
Thank you
встреч.
very much, and we are grateful for your participation.